Hey, it's Fort Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
And welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
And today we're not talking about sex, unfortunately.
I have nothing to add to this conversation whatsoever.
We're talking about relationship management.
Perfect.
The soft next.
That way you can have more sex. See?
Exactly.
I can make everything
and
sexual.
You can have more sex with girls that you like.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is important. And that like you back, which is just as important. So we've talked about the 20-second rule. Mm-hmm. And we'll include that below. There's a link to the video. And this is the second relationship management tool that I got from Black Dragon or Caleb Jones. And I give him credit because some people do this. They don't know what they're doing or they don't. It's easy to fuck up.
Right.
You know, if you actually have a system and it's tested and proven and works when you're dealing with girls and drama, and it will help you immensely. So what is a soft next? Because a lot of people have heard about soft nexting.
Yeah.
And hard nexting. Think of hard nexting as breaking up. Soft nexting is where you want a girl to stay within your orbit or whatever her role is, being a fuck buddy, a friends with benefits, a girlfriend candidate, or a girlfriend. You can't do this with wives if you live together.
Right.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So if you live with your girl, this won't help you.
Yeah.
You know, but it'll help you maybe if you break up and then you're not living with any girls.
If you hard next the one you're with now, then you go on and listen.
So that's the first question is people usually say, can I use this with my wife who is sitting next to me? I say no. You know.
Not recommended.
So if you're running a rotation or you're dating a girl, moving towards marriage, a soft next can help you overcome a lot of the problems where you're dealing with girls that are angry, hormonal, any type of drama. But let me just tell you what a soft next is. Summarized is when you temporarily remove yourself from a woman's life without any argument or anger and ignore any and all contact for her during that time frame, anywhere between 24 hours to 7 days. Usually 3 days is the magic number.
Yeah, I would think that.
Because she gives you drama. And we'll be very specific about what drama is.
Right.
Okay? It is not punishment. It is not something you do because you're angry. It is a teaching tool. Mm-hmm. And what I have seen from this thing works just as he prescribed. Because, punishment tends to leave girls kind of angry or remorse,
resentful,
or they'll come back and seek revenge.
Well, and a lot of times, if a girl feels like she's genuinely been punished, unless that's like her kink, then she may come back, but she will be fighting another person.
Exactly. She's gonna make you pay for any, and that's why this thing it's weird, but it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that one weird trick that helps you maintain control over your relationships with girls. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if, God put it in there so we could, it works, but it does work.
Whatever works.
And so you have to ask yourself, when can I use, and basically what a soft next is, it would be if Bunny came at me and she's criticizing me for something that she feels that I did wrong.
Right.
And it's out of line. She's bringing drama into my happy life.
Right.
So you institute a soft next by you stop communicating. Mm-hmm. If she's at your house and she needs to be taken up, you need to leave. You need to go home.
Yeah.
And that's it. The more you talk, the less effective it is. You just need to get separation. Yeah. If she's with you, you just take her straight to the house and drop her off.
Yeah. And you don't need to argue. You don't need to correct.
Yeah.
You don't need to engage what she's talking about.
No. It's kind of surreptitious. You may have to say, we might talk about this later, but let's just take a break right now.
Right. That's a good way to handle it.
Out of there. And then you go to no communication. It's no talking, no texting, no phone calls. no social media. You just don't respond for whatever amount of time. And I recommend you decide at that moment, where should she, how long should this last? And like we said, like 3 days usually seems to be the sweet spot.
Yeah. But he must have come up with that 2 to 7 days from something. So maybe it's
2 days is when they're very familiar with you. They've been with you for quite some time.
Yeah.
And are more on the high trustworthy and more of a girlfriend candidate.
This is more out of character.
Exactly. And they've
that makes sense.
earned less severe time. Does that make sense?
Right.
The higher would be like for a fuck buddy who disrespects you.
Yeah.
Or brings a lot of drama into your life, or a repeat offender.
Yeah.
It goes longer.
Sure.
Does that make sense? And so then at the end of your prescribed time, only you know that, you just reach out. Hey, I'll how about Wednesday? I'll pick you up. I'll meet you.
Perfect.
And they say, okay, believe it or not, because girls are not dumb. They'll play dumb, but they're smart. They know what's going on. They know that they were being bitchy. It's giving them time to calm down. And no matter what they do, if they might text you a lot on the front end. They might text you none and then mid or none at all. But just go ahead and reach out.
Oh, she's probably blowing up your phone for at least a couple of different time frames during that.
And then they start, they're going to kind of come and go, and they might be nice, and they get angry. They're processing this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But they don't need you to process it. We just make things worse, when we're involved. And so here's the definition. This is what's important, though. And one thing that we kind of like, why I wanted to go directly from Black Dragon's material.
Right.
Because it's important that this isn't abused or misused. Kind of like Dread. I wrote a book on it so it doesn't get fucked up.
Yeah.
But drama is any harsh or negative actions directed from a woman to a man where the man is the target of said negativity. Screaming, nagging, complaining, arguing, demands, crying at you, threats, ultimatums, a silent treatment, refusing sex because of non-medical reasons. All of these things are drama. And there are many others. Drama is not anything negative. Specifically, it must be harsh. Sweetly lying would not be considered drama. Girls lie.
Right.
Like they breathe. So you can't just get them on everything like that. And focused at the man, angrily complaining about her boss at work would not be considered drama.
Right.
Complaining about her dad or anything other than you and at you.
Right. That's an important distinction.
Yes. Everything else, you can probably let her just talk.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with you. But if she's focused on you.
Now, sometimes I will say that those outside forces will swing around because then she's all worked up. And so then she turns it on you. She wants to take the frustration out on you.
And then she's got to go.
Yeah.
But they only do that once.
True.
Does this work on everyone? Yeah, it works on college girls. It works on girls with degrees. It works on professionals. It works on damaged girls. It works on bartenders. It works on all girls. It's like they're hardwired. It's like one of these things that is a management tool that should be well known.
Yeah.
They should teach it in high school, but they don't.
Yeah.
So guys are floundering around trying to calm their girlfriend down or, why are you yelling at me? It's just making it worse.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
For what
What do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And that's the soft next. It's a 2 to 7 day complete stopping communication of any type due to her bringing drama at you into your happy life.
Yeah.
Black Dragon's all about his happy life. And the more you kind of think about it, he says, as long as I'm happy, she's happy. But if she starts bringing it towards him, it disrupts his happiness.
Yeah.
And it makes sense. A lot of guys are so used to being miserable for so long, they're like, well, do I really deserve to be happy? But it's a tool, and it does not leave, how would you say, it's not even punishment, but it doesn't leave a mark. Because one of the common questions that they get is, what if when I reach back out to her, she brings up what happened? Mm-hmm. Well, he's never had it happen to him.
Yeah.
And I can't think of any time I have.
Well, I will say from the female perspective, that because your attention is our oxygen, then we would rather tamp this down, whatever it was, or realize that it wasn't really all that important in the first place, to have your attention back than to keep it going after we've gotten a taste of it. Because we know if we bring this back up and really go at you again, the attention's gone. You're going to be like, bye, and then there's not going to be a circle back. It's just gone.
Bunny has defined the crux of it.
Yeah.
Because women thrive on attention.
Yeah.
Your removal of that has the greatest change of behavior.
It does.
And it's not yelling. It's not. Because you're giving her attention.
Yeah.
It always falls into her. When women argue with you, they're hardwired and designed to win that.
Right.
Guys cannot win in that situation. That's why this is a little rougher for married men.
Yeah, sure.
But here's the kicker. You use this properly, this reduction of attention or disappearing of attention. By the time you're married, you're not dealing with drama.
No. She's
properly trained, for lack of a better phrase.
Yeah, that's a good way. I mean, it sounds silly, but it's a good way to put it.
And, she really brought out the one part that I kept missing kind of in the definitions, because I think it's so important that this doesn't get misused and you fuck it up.
Yeah.
And then blow a good girl off. Is the attention is the coin of the realm for women.
It
and
is.
This dismissal or, reduction, disappearance of your attention, which is the most valuable thing she has.
Mm-hmm.
While you're just going on with your life. You're not mad. You're not.
Yeah.
You're just moving on.
Exactly.
She doesn't know where you're at, what you're doing. Drive women nuts.
Yeah.
They don't want to go through that again.
No. You don't want to go through that twice.
No.
They're so thankful when you reach back out. Well, and I think you made an important point that you haven't had to deal with this a ton, but it's because of the way you created your dating system and ran your rotation.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of a win-win, but in areas where maybe you were getting more serious with one girl, or when you had a girlfriend or a wife or whatnot.
Oh, yeah.
Then this is very, not wife, but you know what I mean? Like,
I could have used this before I got married.
Yes.
Very much so.
Imagine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, something like this in the hands of like an 18 or 20-year-old kid, especially when girls under 23 are even more volatile.
Oh, yeah.
And this works like a charm with that 23 to 33 group, which are your average flaky, drama-bringing girls.
Perfect.
And then after 33, and these are Black Dragon's numbers, girls do tend to settle down somewhat as far as like not bringing the drama as quickly and as volatile.
Right. Right.
Just more life experience. So it's all, and there's drawbacks. There's all kinds of pluses and negatives. But just like Bunny said, when you're the fun guy,
yeah,
girls aren't really around you long enough to, bring much drama.
Right. What are they going to bring drama about? What are they going to criticize you about?
We're meeting up. We're having drinks. We're running around. We're having sex.
And she goes.
And she's gone.
Yeah.
That's ideal. Most of this happens when you're probably in that girlfriend candidate.
Yeah.
And they're hanging around.
Yeah.
And they're not busy.
Exactly. Bored girls are always dangerous.
Bored girls are volatile girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they can accidentally start focusing in on you instead of, social media or soap operas or whatever.
Seriously.
Or their kids, you know. Or like you said, and it's probably most of the time something else has aggravated them.
Yeah.
And then you walk in the room.
Exactly.
And now you remind them of their ex-husband or whatever,
Or just whatever you chew your ice loud. Like it genuinely doesn't matter. It doesn't take anything to set a girl off who's already irritated in another direction.
And the two things that you have to convey as a guy is like, one, they know what they were doing.
They know.
And you removing your attention is extremely effective.
Uh-huh.
And we're not aware of any blowback. Once you get back, like she said, they're so glad this shit's over.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, they're not going to bring it up.
No.
Girls tend to avoid, when they're sound mind.
Yeah.
Avoid conflict.
Yeah. But if you're like, hey, how is it you said, reach back out to him after the week or whatever and just say, hey, meet me at Bar Louie at 7 on Wednesday. She's just thrilled to have a fucking date with you.
That she can depend on again.
And she knows she's going to have a good time.
Yeah, exactly.
And quite honestly, she'll walk in assuming that you're going to reprimand her. So she will be on great behavior, a little cautious.
Yeah.
And
more timid.
And then once she realizes she's not going to get
beat up
over it, she loosens back up and everything is good. But the correction has been made.
Exactly.
And she doesn't ever want to go through that again.
And it's been, one of the common questions is, what if we get back together and immediately she starts going into, kind of a hissy, you simply double the time. You just walk away. Or you can hard next them.
Yeah.
They're not learning. They're not capable of learning.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Of course, it's real easy for me to be like, yeah, hard next. Because I'm like, if she's gonna do it again, then she's just not capable of learning.
Yeah. Or it has no interest in it. And it's funny. I think I brought this up to Bunny when we were first dating.
I was wondering if we were going to tell this story.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Well,
I think we were.
I don't know what was going on.
8 or 9
that
months.
She would have been concerned about, because I don't think you had it. We didn't go back. We didn't have an argument till like 2-3 years in.
Oh yeah.
And
even then we don't really argue.
But we're standing in the elevator. And we're like going to my apartment, and she's like, "Are you soft nexting me?" And I was like, "No, you're standing right in front of me." What? I think like maybe work was like weighing heavy on my mind. I wasn't talking a lot.
I think you just weren't real chatty, and so or maybe we're like make it out in the elevator.
Yeah,
like we were just standing there.
My head was somewhere else,
and so I was just kind of going,
Oh, God, that's
going
funny.
on? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you made fun of me for like the next year over
Oh, my God, that was good.
It was funny.
Yeah. Girl, you don't, and this is another thing. Most girls, you don't bring up game. You don't talk to them about this stuff. They're not interested. They won't get it. They hate it,
They don't like the idea of you having tools that actually help manage them.
They don't need to know where it comes from. They just need to think that you're like a magician.
That you just get it.
You just get it. And that's what they like. They like a dude that just gets it. So the soft next, combined with the 20-second rule.
Yes.
Unless you let her move in with you, you can manage just about anything. But after that, all the gloves are off. And
I feel
she feels personally attacked.
I feel personally attacked.
Well, I walked in, she was measuring the room. I was like, what? And she threw it away, and she goes, nothing. I'm doing nothing in here.
You're such a mess. I'm not doing anything.
I'm not moving in. Why?
And then the movers are like knocking on the door. I'm like, oh shit.
She's got paint swatches.
I told you 30 minutes later.
Exactly. That's when he goes to work. That is the real deal, man. Yeah. And again, the 20-second rule and soft nexting will allow you to frame your relationship with whatever girl you're in front of or in front of you. And then if you guys do take the next step, you're better prepared.
Yeah. And likelihood is she just behaves.
Yeah.
And she inevitably, as a parent, as a mother, this is way down the line. I get it. We're kind of taking this into the next level. But truly, she knows this works. She utilizes it. She teaches her daughters or your daughters. It reciprocates and just pays off in dividends. It helps you control the frame in all kinds of relationships, not just romantic ones.
Perfect.
We want you to win.